Hello, and thanks for joining me for today's episode of Story Time. This particular story is called Traveling Left of Center, and it is from Traveling Left of Center and Other Stories. I have to admit, I do have a fondness for the character in this particular piece. Traveling Left of Center. Girl, my mama said to me the minute she entered my hospital room, on the highway of life, you're always traveling left of center. Mama was always saying things like that. She had a phrase for every occasion and would pronounce them with a certainty that I accepted as gospel in my younger days. But that time I didn't pay her no mind. I just went on painting my nails passionate purple, hoping that the sexy polish would catch the doctor's eyes. I was justifiably proud of my hands, especially since at that particular time, they were the only part of me that was skinny. A girl's body sure takes a beating from having a baby. It took me at least a year to get my shape back after I had Robert Nicholas. And it looked like Rebecca Nicole wouldn't be any kinder to her mama than her big brother had been. I truly love my babies, even though life would have been a lot simpler if I hadn't gotten pregnant. I would have been able to do something with my life, like go to beauty school, instead of changing diapers and cleaning baby spit up for days on end. It was hard being a mother with no husband to lean on. But to give Mama her due, from the minute she was right there ready to help me out. "You're having a baby?" The way Mama shrieked when I told her the news, you'd think she'd never heard of it before. Granted, I was going to make her a grandma at the same time I became a mother. But I didn't know why it was such a big surprise. Bobby and I had been keeping company for at least 6 months before I got pregnant. Good Lord, what will I say to the ladies at bingo? Bingo was my mama's one passion. She never missed bingo nights at the church. They're going to ask me how it happened, and what will I say? Well, if they don't know how it happens by now, they're pretty damn stupid, I snarled back and then ran into the bathroom to lose what was left of my breakfast, thanks to the endless bouts of morning sickness. All in all, though, Mama took it really well. Even when Bobby left me 2 months before the big event, she didn't say too much beyond the expected, "Well, I told you he was no good. He had shifty eyes. I saw that right away." Maybe she was right. I don't know if I ever noticed his eyes. I was too busy looking at his sexy half smile and the way his shoulders filled out those white t-shirts that he wore. His arms were so full of muscles that he could barely fold his sleeve over the pack of unfiltered Camels he was always smoking. Bobby had a way of blowing smoke out of the corner of his mouth that made me weak at the knees. So how could I refuse him? I never thought I'd get pregnant, not that fast anyway. It wasn't like I planned it or anything, although I did picture the two of us in a little apartment with ruffled curtains and a new bedroom set from Furniture Plus. So it really wasn't my fault. Little Robert Nicholas just happened. That's what I told Mama. "Things don't just happen," Mama snapped. "Girl, you can't do now and think later. You've got to pay attention." Mama was always preaching at me, always telling me how I needed to pay attention. Like that night when the policeman stopped me and Mary Jane McAbobby. All we did was go to the neighborhood bar after work for a few beers before we headed home. I figured I was okay to drive, since we only had to go a few blocks and nobody was out that late anyway. Nobody except the cops. And when I heard that siren, I knew I was in trouble, but I still swear the light was yellow when I went through it. Luckily, he was best friends with Mary Jane's big brother and let me off with a lecture and a ticket for an expired license. "Who looks at their driver's license?" I wailed, trying to get sympathy from him. But he just shook his head. Then Mary Jane poked me in the ribs and hissed, "Shut up before he smells the beer on your breath," and I clammed up pretty fast. Besides, my words were slurring just a bit. But he could have given us a break. It wasn't like I did it on purpose. And I did look especially nice, too, with my hair all curly and my nails painted Russian roulette red, the latest shade according to the manicurist at Nails to Go. Okay, that is a little taste of traveling left of center. I'm sure you've known people like that. People that you just want to grab them by the shoulders and say, "What is wrong with you? Haven't you thought about this? This is the umpteenth time you've done something like this." But the fact of the matter is, they just think that it's all going to turn out well. I like to think of this particular character as a very hopeful girl. She's not a bad girl. I always want to point that out to people. She's not a bad girl. She's just very optimistic. She truly believes that every man she's with is the man. Every romance she gets involved with will turn out happily ever after. And when it doesn't, she goes back home to mama, and mama sighs, and the girl goes on, and the whole cycle just starts all over again. But as I said, it's a fun story. I like the character. I have a lot of pity for the mother, but it's just an enjoyable little piece. So if you'd like to read it, you will find it in Traveling Left of Center and Other Stories. And that is today's story time. So thanks for stopping by, and I hope you enjoyed it, and see you again here sometime soon.